Hey Warpugs, today we're going to be checking out SCP-001 when day breaks. And today up on the chopping block, hopefully, is Peanut. Now, I have a particular hatred for Peanut that defies description. And is most likely unhealthy for me and I probably need therapy about. But ever since he ruined my birthday, I haven't been able to really let go of it. SCP-173 is one of the most annoying SCPs in existence if you ever played Containment. SCP Containment Breach. But I want to see what happens to him when he's faced by the flesh here. SCP-173, if you guys do not know, is the first SCP ever written about. It actually has a very interesting backstory, but I dismiss all that in favor of hating it and calling it lame. I dismiss all the things that make this thing cool just so I can continue to hate on it. Because that's what a true hater does, and we're here for that. We are here for that. Mr. Illustrated has, oh, I can't wait to see this. Mr. Illustrated has continued to impress me with this series. It has been continuously one thing that I have been wanting to watch. Once I catch up with this series, I'm going to be moving on to another series, and I think it's going to be called, Man Stories or something like that, about Dungeons and Dragons, things of that nature. Griffin of Might requested that one, and he's asked me several times to take a look at it, and apparently the videos are kind of short, so I'll be taking a look at that. But until then, I am wanting to get caught up with this so I can stay in touch with new releases, everything like that. Mr. Illustrated is an awesome artist and a storyteller, great voice actor. You guys need to go subscribe to him if you haven't already. Let's get into this. And pow.
Good day everyone and welcome back to a new When Day Breaks, this time featuring SCP-173. This is another custom-made story by myself and Dr. Sumerian, so make sure you go and show him some love too. A massive thanks to all the incredible patrons who keep the channel going. A quick word from today's sponsor and we will get started. This video is brought to you by Manscaped, and I couldn't be happier because I freaking love Manscaped.
Yes, in a video about Peanut, remember, shave your balls.
They've got the best stuff for your crack and sack, guys. Let's take a quick gander at their performance package. This is the lawnmower, soon to be...
That is a good looking beard you have there, sir.
...your new best friend. Watch what happens when I run my finger over the blade. You seeing this? Skin safe tech, not a nick or a cut. It's waterproof, rechargeable, and you even have a light to see what you're up to. It even has a travel lock feature, you see? Perfect
Nice.
for the long journeys. You've also got the weed whacker here. Tidy up those hairs in your ears and up your nose.
Oh my god.
I hold here the solution to a perfect pair of testicles. This is the Preserver, all-day odor protection. And this is the Reviver. It has cooling aloe vera. It's perfect for refreshing the area when you need it.
I love the fact that it's called Ball Toner.
And for a limited time, you can also get the travel bag and the anti-chafe boxes. This is an investment, guys, that you're not going to regret. Use the link below, get 20% off and free shipping.
Yes, SCP. Use promo code SCP. Shave your balls. I would have personally done the promo code as Chaos because... Never mind, I'm an idiot.
Look at me.
The statue attempted to will it into being, but they refused to listen. SCP-173's mind raced with thoughts of his own inferiority. Why wouldn't you look at me? Why don't you want to see what I am? And the thought shifted to something darker. The impulse returned. He moved directly in front of the man in the orange jumpsuit. He reached his arms out and grasped the man by the sides of the head. SCP-173 looked the man directly into his closed eyes.
Look at how beautiful I am.
Another whirlwind moment passed.
Oh!
The scene in front of the statue was changed. The man was still frozen in place, but now he was struggling to escape. His eyes were still closed, still avoiding him. Nothing else mattered in that moment. Nothing else could matter.
Oh, man.
The rage filled him. Hatred took him. He twisted the man's neck. It bent at a strange angle, but now he was alone again. He didn't feel better. If only they would look at him. See how beautiful he could be.
Right.
Maybe a light like his was just too blinding. Maybe he'd never find another being in this small, boxed-in universe of his to appreciate what he was.
No.
He suffered through decades of this, men and women alike, none with the will to look upon him. He'd lose moments from time to time, sometimes long moments. But every time he found one of these creatures, they refused to look at him. They closed their eyes to his beauty. Then one day...
Well, seriously, you might want to think about why that is. If they look away from you for a second, you break their damn neck. This is the instance where it's your fault, buddy. Believe me.
It all stopped. The air processors fell silent. The lights above him failed. He experienced no more lost moments. No more frightened and unappreciative men or women. Just his own loneliness. Was this what freedom was like? Oh, but the waste he produced still continued unabated. It filled the room slowly and methodically. At first a puddle, then to his knees. When it reached his chest, he felt a fear of his own. He began to think he was going to drown in his own blood and excrement. But when it went over his head, nothing happened. But now he was blinded, alone, scared, his beauty covered in foul brown liquid.
I can't say I'm unhappy to see this.
Then the dam burst. The moment it happened was such a relief. The pressure of the room released explosively into the next chamber. His entire body shot out through the hole in the wall, and then he was free.
Good for you.
How long had he been confined to that chamber? How many lost months, years? He tried to focus himself. He raised himself and began to explore this dark place. The facility seemed emptied of people. Only the occasional dim emergency light lining the hallway showed him the way. He forced his way through a door into another cell like his own. No, a testing chamber. The decaying skeletal remains of a researcher sat in the corner. Next to him lay a small silver bell missing its ringer. He picked it up and studied the object.
Mr. Deeds!
A chime suddenly echoed around the room. He turned to see a man in a suit enter the cell with a stunned look on his face. He was looking at him. Finally, he was being appreciated. And just as quickly he wasn't. The man was now looking at the corpse with a look of sadness and guilt. Regardless, he closed his eyes and the rage came back to the statue.
Really?
It promptly snapped the man's neck and left the cell, leaving the corpses to rot.
Why?
The labyrinthian hallways and corridors gave way to offices and recreational areas. Here he came across the remains of those who had once called this their home. Bullets to the head, every one of them. He could hear voices and he followed them. Though a shelf blocked his way, an old man and a woman in rags stood over the huddled, crying form of a young girl at the end of the corridor. The old man turned to look at him. This was not admiration. This felt cold. It felt like the gaze was piercing his very soul. The woman led the girl around a corner and out of sight. The old man smiled at him and also backed his way around the corner and out of sight. He found the office of the HMCL supervisor. The man's torso was missing, but his lower half still sat in the chair at the desk. 173 shoved the remains aside and looked at the desk. His own documentation was there, buried under various reports and warnings about the apocalypse going on outside.
Does it say that you're a douchebag?
It mentioned that whenever someone looked at 173, that he was unable to move. Lies. It was them who froze, eyes shut and mouths agape in panic. It was them who refused to behold his beauty. He threw the document down. He moved back towards the door.
Reality check needs to happen.
173 wandered the site looking for the exit and reading notices on the wall. A flickering screen looped a message.
Functioning site, we are experiencing an XK-class end-of-the-world scenario. I repeat, we are experiencing an XK-class end-of-the-world scenario. Please be advised that exposure to sunlight is to be considered valid reason for termination.
Lovely.
If you suspect a colleague has been turned, say something. More instructions will follow.
This screen was covered in dried brown liquid. Blood, he assumed, from the body slumped to the floor next to it. What did these people have against the light?
Oh, probably the same thing they have about their necks getting broken.
There on the floor, he noticed a lump of something strange. It was snaking from around the corner and had the corpse by the leg. It, like everything always was for him, was frozen in place. But he couldn't help but follow it. The strange, fleshy tentacle disappeared into a mass as large as the hallway itself just around the corner. A thing with eyes, hundreds of them, all looking at him. And suddenly, it wasn't frozen at all. But neither was he. This was a new feeling, an experience unlike any other in his life.
Oh.
Someone, or something, finally saw him.
You.
The voice said with a sense of finality.
Me.
173 thought to himself. Was this it? The moment of recognition? Would he finally be appreciated for what he was? The creature reached another tentacle out and caressed the side of 173's face.
I've been waiting for you. Come into the sun, so I can see how beautiful you really are.
He moved forward with the creature, which slurped and lurched his way backwards down the hallway. All of its eyes were looking directly into his very being. For the first time in his long and fruitless life, he was finally and truly seen.
Okay.
The creature wasn't recoiling in fear. It wasn't closing its eyes out of disgust. It appreciated him for what he was. Beautiful. Up the staircase he went. When 173 stumbled and nearly fell, the monster caught him. It cradled him. It carried him the rest of the way up.
Well, they're birds of a feather.
He caught a brief sight of several teddy bears made from all kinds of objects, watching him from the shadows. They were scared. One made of paper and tape was hugging another made of string, while another made from crisp packets appeared to cry into the shoulder of one that looked perfectly normal. It waved at him as he passed by.
This scary damn thing.
The creature led him gingerly onward. They passed through a final long corridor painted in blood and gore. The sight of an obvious massacre didn't faze him. He knew now that these people were fools. They'd been too afraid to admire him, and they were too foolish to admire this creature too.
Oh my god.
They deserved what they got. The rage nearly bubbled up again in him. The two of them saw the light together. Blinding. Beautiful.
Nope.
He felt the voice in his mind now.
I want to share my beauty as well, but they resist so very much. I know you're suffering.
173's mind went back to imagining the fate of those in the corridor they had just come through. Something was wrong. The sunlight felt odd to him. It was in his head, even more so than before.
What are you doing?
He thought at the entity.
I'm taking away your suffering. There is nothing to fear anymore. I see you for what you are. Beautiful?
173 thought as his mind began to cloud.
Yes. Beautiful.
The feeling of peace enveloped 173 completely. He felt content. He felt love. All those years of imprisonment and torture, all the experiments, all the bodies, all the cross-testing, the heart-wrenching feelings of sadness and despair after his master left him. None of it mattered anymore.
What is going on right now?
Finally, something loved him for what he was.
Oh, Lord.
Finally, something saw him as beautiful.
Well,
He gazed into the sun's majesty and could feel billions of eyes watching him, without judgment, but admiration. He let the sun's rays shroud him in loving warmth.
what happens?
Suddenly, he felt stiff. He felt his rebar begin to seize and his mind to begin to leave him. He could feel it being pulled towards the sun. This was how he ended. He didn't care. The sunlight itself would appreciate his beauty, now and for all time. The sunlight shined down on the remains of Site-19 for quite some time after that. The statue remained there at the entrance, seemingly entranced by the sight of the sun. It did not move, it did not think, and it did not see. Then one day, so very much later, a single shining steel tube flew directly over what remained of SCP-173 and Site-19, the fruits of labour from another time and another world. When the flash of nuclear radiation washed over 173, what was left of it didn't notice or care.
What?
The concrete and rebar statue simply crumbled away to join the dust and sand. The light was blinding. And that concludes this 173 When Day Breaks tale.
What?
There will be more When Day Breaks in July, as well as a whole load of future When Day Breaks covering the Angel of Darkness Part 2, St. Elmo's Fire Part 3, and some other standalone SCPs too, so make sure you like and subscribe for more of that content. Please.
Okay. So. Oh my god. There's a lot to unpack with that. First off, one thing that I've really liked about this series is it gets you inside the mental landscape of some SCPs. And 173 is just as narcissistic and as much of a prick as I thought he was. Secondly, is this what the sun is really doing? Or is the flesh nothing more or less than a collective hive mind controlled by the SCP that is the sun now? I'm loving this every step of the way. As deep as it goes, I've been enjoying it, guys. I have been massively enjoying this. Now, as far as everything else goes, I'd like to thank all of you for joining me. Check down below because I'm going to be putting SCP Illustrated's links in the description down there. I don't think his Manscaped promotion is still active, but I am going to be putting... Sorry, Mr. Illustrated. Sorry. It's still a new thing for me. I'm going to be putting his Manscaped promotion down there just in case. So, War Pugs, shave your balls. Just saying. Shave them. Yes. And get your bolt owner. Anyhow. The one thing that I have loved more than anything else about all this is the fact that with each step of the story, I'm not only learning about what's happening to the world, I'm learning about the SCP itself. And it's made everything so much fun as far as actually seeing and understanding what I'm looking at. And I saw my first episode of When Day Breaks very early on learning about SCP. So it's kind of strange now that I'm releasing my own SCP, my first SCP lore video while I'm enjoying this. Until next time, guys, leave a comment on the video if you would. Helps me out with the algorithm. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. Check down below for merch done by Valk. I am out of here. I'll catch you guys next time. Yes.